Oh, snaps. I forgot to turn on the... There we go. So anyway, I guess we can make me big too. Welcome to Piece of Fat Paints. Here we go again with me and my weird business. I get better at this slowly. It takes a lot of repetition. Anything you want to do, you got to do lots of repetition of it. If you keep doing the same things over and over again, then you start to get really good at it. And then as you get really good at it, then you find the next thing you have to do to make the situation better. And that's just how we get better at things, right? At least that's how I see it. Welcome to Piece of Pat Paints. I'm Pat. I paint the pieces. You watch me paint the pieces, and then we have this strange relationship. I like to make a lot of jokes, so mostly what I say, I'm usually kidding. And when I'm not, you can tell. I usually am not laughing afterwards, or I have a very serious tone. I don't take things too seriously. Anyway, I love it when people chat with me, so feel free to go ahead and throw chats down there. I also read comments after the shows, and I respond to most comments. I haven't had anything that I haven't responded to yet, but I'm sure that one day I know the internet, and I kind of know what the internet does. So I'm fully expecting to one day have comments that I'm not exactly excited to reply to. But for now, all comments have been great. Love comments, all that stuff. Anyway, we are. Let's see. Let's turn on let's shrink me and turn on the sign. Boom, 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 boom. So that's what we got. We're working on our Dreadnaught. We also have the Librarian turned out really well. I trimmed the bottom of his I think that's actually called a tabard, but whatever. Loincloth, whatever you want to call that. And that's gonna, that with our hood and our beard should help us make him look a little bit more like a Dark Angel. Yeah. And we got Brutus here done. A couple little nicks that I had to fill in with some milk hood. So we'll come back and repaint those. But we got a lot of work to do in all of this anyway, so it should be fine. May have been poke-throughs when I was drilling these things out. Sometimes that'll happen to you, so make sure you're checking out everything. Okay, so... Oh, goodness. These paints are pretty stiff today. Ooh, there we go. I'm excited to get a new tube of Mars Black. We'll be switching over probably to golden after this. I'm starting to switch all my stuff over to golden. Good morning, Sir McBeardsly. Appreciate seeing you, my friend. Definitely on to painting again, which is exciting. Super exciting. Alright, let's take these things off while we're working on this guy. Okay. So the first thing we really want to do is just drop a layer of black down on all this. Well, this 403 is taking some massive abuse over here. I guess we've been using this for almost a year now. Painting. So I mean, you gotta look at all the hours that this thing has been used. It's been pretty intense. Your brushes do wear out over time, so that is something you have to be aware of. That filling in file really did help kind of take that away. As you can see now, once it's painted, it's kind of disappeared. Holy moly, I'm having a little trouble breathing today. Be okay though. Just gotta make sure I keep my breaths nice and rhythmic, which is good for painting, honestly. Lots of allergens in the air from all the recent rain. Now everything's growing again. Right. Mr. McBeardsly is upset that he's going to be very upset if he's got to mow again. You might. It's Oklahoma. You don't, you just never know. But things are leveling off pretty quickly. We had it dang near 100 last weekend. And now we dropped straight into the 80s. And we're not going to see another 90, I think. It's wild. Oklahoma weather will test your faith in reality. Okay, and then we did what we did. We lead Belcher. Shake the crap out of these things. I'm really hoping I can. I'm gonna probably switch over some Pro Acryl on these. If I'm honest, I like Pro Acryl's bottles a lot better. It works better for what I do. So for some of these metallics that I can't get in the style of paint I like, which is much thicker than most people like, then hoping we can find some versions of Pro Acryl that I like. This paint's really wild. It always goes on way darker than it finishes. It's so strange. I think I do want to make these the same color. We'll break that green. We'll start changing some of that up. Maybe this should be Belcher. too big. I don't like a handle for that piece. Soccer schedule. Well, we've got, let's see. Oh man, we've got a tournament. This weekend there's a scrimmage today. And then the and that's for U14s. Then for the U12 team, I've got a game in Guthrie on Sunday. So we got a scrimmage today, a game on Friday, a game on Saturday, and potentially 3 games on Sunday. Now I don't know that the U14 team is going to make it to the finals. So I don't, and they're getting better, but I don't think they're going to win this tournament. I think that they should focus on just going and having a good time. Enjoy their first tournament. Just kind of soak it in, you know. It's their first trip out like that together. Should just enjoy it. Not try to worry too much about pushing for a win or something like that. And I don't think there's a lot of really great soccer squads in Oklahoma. And so it's going to be really, since their team is new, they're still kind of learning each other. I doubt they'll get to the finals. They might. You never know. It's soccer. But there's some times where you just kind of, you know, that the goal is to get the touches and to get better. That's what you're trying to do as a team. And the coach knows this, and that's kind of what he's preaching to, which is good. I mean, you always play to win, but sometimes you just kind of know that this series of games is mostly for the experience. It's like your, first time you go to a tournament for Magic or a tournament for Warhammer or a tournament for, there's lots of different tournament kind of things you can go to. Games, sports, it's all kind of the same. You got to go get some experience. You got to get those reps. I was talking about that in the beginning of today, where I was talking about me getting better at the film setup for these lives, and the more I repeat it, the better I'm getting. I'm not having nearly the kind of strange errors I was having it earlier. Except for I keep forgetting to turn off this eternal music one, which is bad, but we're gonna get better. That's it. I need to just not turn that. I need to turn the sign off at the end, and then turn on the outro instead of muting the sign and turning on the outro. So I just got to start repeating that process. It's like painting too. I'm getting better. I keep painting, 5 days a week. I'm painting for an hour at a minimum. Well, on the average, let's say that on average, because there are days I don't paint anyway. On the average, we'll say I'm painting an hour a week. And it's paying off. Now I'm thinking I should paint those little parts and just keep that gun. But that's okay. We can always do that later. Phthalo is so dark it doesn't care. Okay, so these cables on the inside. I wonder what a lot of other people have done. Oh, this is fun. So this is what I think we're going to paint on the last cable here. I think I want to paint something like this. And have it take up this whole thing right here. Should be cool. Should be a lot of fun. So, paint. That's a new conversion. Mostly looks like it's just black. Just seems boring. Okay, let's look. Maybe we'll add some colors too. I was leaving some of that like a gunmetal, like a metallic gray. Maybe we'll put just copper. Because we want to be able to open it up and look at that. And let's see. A little crimson, we need some reds. The only thing that's not written down on that sheet is the copper. So, a little crimson. These are new products. Golden products. Chrome blue is great for wires. Switch over to the 5-0, so we got that super fine point here. Also need a little titanium white, because we'll have to white coat some stuff. Okay. First things first. This is going to be a lens, maybe. Well, I'll look up the, see if anybody made a schematic of it. A lot of times Game Workshop will make a schematic, and so then we can kind of build back into it. this bundle of cables. We're gonna just put a little white on the top. So this is what they would call a zenithal highlight in a way. Usually you do zenithaling with like a big spoke or an airbrush, but you can also kind of do it with a brush. I want the tops to have a little bit more light hitting than the bottoms. And this will help when we start applying colors to it. Make this straight black. Kind of coming over it a few times, it'll be alright. I should probably turn that one on the bottom blue. I was thinking about putting a green wire in here. No. Let's keep it the theme we've been going. This way it kind of looks like these. The blue's not quite right, but it's close. It's raw, yeah. I know how that goes, brother. I know how that goes. Oh. Remember, yellow is just gonna take a little bit more work than everything else. you just kind of have to accept it and be okay with it, and move on from it. Oh yeah, AC guys. Well, that's an adventure. Better than having nothing to do, right? Hopefully your friend's got cable. Alright, let's do just a little bit different this time. We're going to do this first cable blue. And then make this last cable blue. I'm sure that will be just yeah. That's when you bring a board game. bring something fun. Lenses, you're kind of trying to get it dark on the outside like a little, like, I don't know, it's weird. You're kind of trying to make like this little reflection pattern, like it's reflecting light. It's not the easiest thing to explain. It's definitely not easy to do. So you just like you just saw me do there. You kind of start out with the white, and then you're gonna lay down, a good amount of blue, or you can make it green, or you can make it really your reflection thing could be any color you want it to be. But you kind of make then you bring the white back, and you kind of make one curve on part of the white, and then leave like a dot at the top on one side or the other. It almost doesn't even matter where you put the dot at. Her lights are a little different. It's kind of like this dingy yellow white if they're not on. YouTube home algorithm sent me here. Hey, I like that. I'm getting recognized on the YouTube home algorithm. Sweet. That's awesome. Well, appreciate you. Is that Bujimon? Hopefully I pronounced that right. Yep, we're working on getting this Dark Angels. We've done a lot of awesome. Yeah, so we had to build out this section here. So like all of this was a gap. There was a hole in the model that they hadn't. When you get it, you're just supposed to glue this section on. But then you wouldn't see any of this. You wouldn't, like, what's the purpose of any of that? So awesome. I love it. Bujima. Fantastic. That's a great screen name. I really enjoy that. So we can reconstructed this. This is an old circuit board piece that I cut and put in here. We'll have to clean up these wires here before we finish it up. I got a little bit of black on. And then I added this wheel. It's out of one of these motors to an old drone my kids tore up playing with. They played with this thing until they broke it. So I pulled a gear out of there and I added it to it. And then these are just wires that they're just glued in there, you know, just to kind of look like there's something going on. And then we started painting down the front of this. Yeah, I wish I had a camera capable of doing that, but I'm not quite there yet. My goals are to get YouTube to start paying for all that sort of thing. It definitely takes a while, but we'll, you know, I'll see if I can't get, maybe I can get this thing to go a little bit higher. I think I'm only at 720 right now. All right, so anyway, we need like maybe a red light here. Right. Like, one of them needs to be yellow, right? Maybe I'll just start using my phone. It could also be my upload speed. I'm not a tech kind of person, so I'm really bad. I live out in the sticks in rural Oklahoma in the United States. And it's a great place in some ways, but in some ways it's not so good. I think that little like lens, maybe like a green light. This is OBS. Maybe I missed something up here. Maybe I answered. Maybe I've got to change a setting, or we did some settings and then it got all messed up. I thought I could change it right here, but I think I have to go into a different setting. Yeah, oh yeah, send me a video. I think I messed that up. I had it going higher, but then I did something to it. Who knows? It's definitely probably my error. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the most savvy when it comes to tech. I do like painting though. So yeah, we've got this guy going, and then we've also got, I converted this librarian. We pulled his gear out and added a hood, added these two sticks, and put in a tabard or loincloth, you know, whatever you're supposed to call these things. And then we'll get to him too. So we're kind of gonna get painted as a group. I also added this to the missile launcher. It's old elf sword. It matches the shield. It came from an old kit I bought years ago. And then we added the skull, of course, since it's going to be Death Knight or Dark Angel. Death Knight, I don't know what I was talking about. Yeah, you can send vids to me. My socials are all the same as the YouTube channel. It depends. It depends on how much I want to mess with it. Like this guy here took, I guess he was about 8 or 9 hours of work, but I didn't do any modifications to him. So like, you know, all we had to do was put him. The only real crazy stuff was doing the space. So I didn't have to do a lot else. So it isn't a big deal. Now, for this, I've done all this modding out and adding in these sculpts and stuff like that. So like that adds a lot of time to whatever I'm doing. And you know, and then sometimes I'll do like this one's gonna get a freehand piece. We're gonna freehand one of the Watchers Angels things right here on this. It'll be like a green hooded angel holding a sword. It'll be really cool. My little community voted on Dark Angels, and that's how we got started with having to do all of this extra stuff. Because if you're gonna play Dark Angel, if you're gonna do Dark Angel stuff, you should definitely make sure it's a little bit more ornate than, say, Imperial Fists or Ultramarines. They're a little bit more standard Space Marine types. So you can just paint it. But Dark Angels have like a whole vibe. And since we're doing 2 malls at the same time, it's also kind of adding a little extra work time to it all. And I obsess over little things, so sometimes I get caught up on stuff I shouldn't. Yeah. Oh my god. I keep stressing about it instead of just moving on from it. And it looks fine and I should move on, but more so when it's for customers. The studio does work for commissions, and so if it's for a customer, I can get really obsessed about it. I got that, like, if somebody's gonna pay me money to do something, I want to make sure it's perfect. Places of mill put shining through and make sure we get rid of that. Okay. Let's see. I always recommend getting some companies make an opener for these kind of tubes. If you don't have an opener, get a pair of channel locks. It may scar up your lids a little bit, but it's a disposable tube, it'll be okay. And you don't really need to be cranking your hands on those things. It's bad for your hands. These also aren't like the traditional. They're not like the traditional model paints. I use a lot of professional artist grade stuff. because we, like I said, we do a bunch of other things. Man, well, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Have a great day, man. Naples yellow is going to work great for all of this. Ezekiel W also came in. I didn't really get to properly say thank you, Roman. Answering questions in rapid fire succession. I like it. I like it. I like it. No worries, man. You know me. I'm just gonna keep going. I just like to go back and make sure I shout people out. Especially if you had the gumption to drop a comment, man. That's the good stuff. Really appreciate it. Again, these are all base codes. Base code, base code, base code. Skulls and wings are kind of the same. We'll add white to the tops of the wings. We'll add more browns, and then come back with this bone on this Naples yellow on the skull. Yeah, we're gaining like a sub a day right now. That's pretty incredible. Really. Just come up at what building the Redemptor Dreadnaught likes. Man, I have heard the horror stories of the Redemptor. They're not the easiest kit in the world to build. I'm gonna get myself one here pretty soon, and we'll build it on the air, and we can all have a laugh. I hear they're just rough. Alright, we can roll the same Naples on all this scroll work, and when we come back through after a wash, we can highlight it and add in some details. We're gonna have to give him a name. Because I think the actual marine name goes on here, and then the name of the Dreadnaught goes on the outside, if I remember correctly. I'll have to look that up. There will definitely be lore to it. Trust. Trust. Okay. What we got? Oh, 51 minutes. Almost done for the day. For those who jumped in and joining us, we are working on this Dreadnaught, and we've got a Librarian we're working on too. I haven't gotten to him yet, but we've gotten a lot of the paint done for the inside. I'll just come back out, and after we do that, we'll do these pieces. Start figuring out what all the rest of this color scheme we want, how we want it to look. For right now, I'm trying to get all this figured out the way we want it. And we need to drop some washes, it looks like. I'll start off with my famous armor wash we make here ourselves. This is just oil paint and mineral spirits. It gives it a real nice dark, grimy, grimy kind of thing. Oh, I don't want to use that way. I have a better brush for this. Or different brushes. There we go. The old Napster. Any place you want to kind of let this stuff settle in. Especially cracks, things like that. We'll come back and do some highlights later. Now you can buy products like this. It's similar to, what is the one GW makes? Nun oil. Works very similarly. And it can get away from you, so be careful. Working with it when it's early in the process, as long as it doesn't have too much time to set up, you can pull it off with a little makeup sponge or a I wouldn't use a Q-tip unless you absolutely have nothing else, but you could use a Q-tip. You just gotta be careful. Q-tips can sometimes like stick to things in ways you don't really want it to. Okay, so we're not trying to cover up any of the light work we did on any of those lights, but we do want to get in there and get all that other stuff. Silicone wires will clear off with just a wiping. This stuff won't. None of these paints are going to stick to any of those coated wires. Kind of one of the advantages to using something like that, because we can kind of hang around it, and then we can just kind of pull them, clean them up, and they're going to be fine. You can see how just a slight rub will take it off. And you can also use, like I said, a makeup sponge. You can take off any excess. Maybe set up a little too long. That's okay. We're going to highlight a lot of that stuff. Finer details for us, especially catching into those mechanical things. Like I said, be very careful about where you're putting things like this, because it will definitely, it can definitely ruin your day fairly quickly. I should come down here and paint those cables. Maybe we will. So we're about to wrap up for start right there. Get these wheels ready, or gears, cogs, whatever it is for the guns that it's on. It's going to arm. Gloves. Sometimes it's power fists. Guns. Sometimes it's power fists. Sometimes it's rocket launchers. All sorts of different stuff. Okay. So we let that set up. I'll do just a little bit of a brown real quick on our this is a raw umber. Like I said, I use a lot more of like traditional kinds of paints. Alright, so this is back to an acrylic. So we can change the brush. I try not to mix my oil brushes and acrylic brushes too often. Once you kind of get oil in something, it kind of likes to have oil on it again. That's an interesting small part of the situation. Alright, so we're going to add just a little bit of brown, it's like a brown wash to all these parts. Kind of could go with that other darker wash. This is just kind of going to give us some, instead of it just being straight black. Okay. And when we come back tomorrow, we'll put the highlights on it, and it's going to look great. I'm going to smack my microphone around a little bit. So let's see. I don't know. Pull myself down here. Just like that. And yeah, I appreciate everybody coming by. GHB, Ezekiel W, Bougimon, really appreciate all you guys stopping by. Hopefully you dug what we were doing. We can get some of those sweet likes and subscribes. Otherwise, you know, we're gonna keep at it. My goal is to get enough subscribers and stuff going to get YouTube to start paying for all my art supplies. Anyway, you guys have a great day. We're going to talk to you tomorrow. Bye.